Hi everyone, welcome to today's Hooray, it's Thursday. We're approaching the end of April, can you believe it? It's just coming around so fast. I'm Courtney, I'm an Australian Stampin' Up demonstrator and I've come in today to create a card with you using our beautiful Cajun Craze. Now it's not a colour I've used very often, actually I think I've still got a packet of the cardstock in the, remember the green labelling? It's been a while, so yeah. So we're going to use Cajun Craze, and I've also got Paradise Garden here with me because I'm using that this weekend in class. Now, one of the cards that I've created for class is in Cajun Craze because it's not a colour that gets a lot of use from me, and I decided that it needed some loving. And it's going to go beautifully with Golden Glow, which is one of our new colours that's coming up starting in May. So a couple of things before we get started. Please follow me on YouTube. If you're following me on Instagram, please feel free to pop on over to my Facebook page and follow me there as well. You can also comment on this stream. I've got both rows of comments happening up, so it would be nice to see you and have a chat with you. All right, so I'll just press a magic button over here and another magic button over here, and we are ready to go. So again, welcome. We're playing with Paradise Garden, so I'll just turn over the screen because I have some news to share with you. We have the Royal Easter Show is a Sydney event, or this particular time is a Sydney event that I entered with my, hi Lowell, how are you going? I entered with my dear daughter. She entered some crochet items. I did some card making. Now, I also did some scrapbook pages, but I got a first with this card here. So I thought using some Cajun Craze, we might recreate this card. Now it's, hi Kate, how you going? It's a bit of fun. It's a fancy fold. We did do a card very similar in our last retreat. So I thought I'm going to take this just a little step different, go a bit sideways. This one here is a landscape card. I'm going to turn it around. We're going to make a portrait card today, but there's a couple of elements on here that I want to show you. We're also going to use a different stamp set, so and a couple of different dies and things like that, different ribbon, different colors. That's all. Oh, that's all they get when they're at the Easter show before they do the judging or any of that sort of stuff. Oh, okay, sounds good, Kate. When they do the judging, that's all they get. They get the category and our entry number. So they don't know who makes these cards, and it was very difficult not putting my name on it. But when you see, if you were to see it at the show, you would have seen it with my name there and its beautiful matching blue first prize ribbon. I can encourage you all to enter the Easter show, the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Yes, you do have to deliver your products. You can post them in. But there is a $50 prize. It does cost $15 to enter. There is a $50 prize for first place, which buys more product, which is always fun. So let's recreate this. I am going to do a landscape card, actually. I was going to do a portrait one, but I'm going to do a landscape one because I've just looked at the way I've cut my paper. So we'll just pop that up there. We're also going to use Paradise Gardens as our, I guess, featured stamp set die bundle. Really nice, got some beautiful sentiments, some great big banners. It does have an embossing folder, but I bought a different embossing folder over, and this embossing folder's got a magic die that cuts out the leaves. I don't know if you remember, just check back on one. There's a card recently I did with it, and I used this piece to show you. See how they cut out just some leaves, not all of them, but it cuts out some, so you can put a dimensional under them and pop them up. That's that embossing folder teamed up with that die that's in there. Okay, but we're not using that today. I've brought over with me, because this arrived in this week's parcel, Lazy Daisy. And I thought, since I'm using some flowers, this is going to work. So we'll just get this guy out. This is a 3D embossing folder. And what I'm going to do, I've got some double-sided, I've got some of the two-tone cardstock, so it's going to work beautifully with that because I want to sand it off with my emery board. Okay, it's a very festive emery board that we've got here today. So got that, pop that there to the side. Let's put my stamps to the side. So I've got a couple of things. I pulled over these. I love these nice. Hi, Cheryl. Some nice big bronze pentagons. They're just, they're weighty. They're good. And as you can see, we've used a couple of them on here. All right. So, Cajun Craze. Not a color that a lot of people jump to. It's a nice color. It goes with lots of different things. It's part of our regals, and it's one of those things that you sort of, I guess, it's a color that often gets overlooked. Now, I pulled in some designer series paper from the current designer series paper packs. Each color has a designer series paper that goes with it, like a pack of paper. So if we've got regals, we've got a regals selection. For example, these are just a couple of pieces out of the regals selection that's current. And if you like particular colors, these are on clearance at the moment, so they are going. My advice is that you get them sooner rather than later. They're actually decreased in price. This is from Spotlight on Nature dies. They're just a pretty set of dies, nice circles, got some decorative edges, and I use them quite frequently just for anything really. They're just a bit of fun. Now I think I have left my take a pick tool on the other table, but that's okay. So we're going to have to use our very creative scissors here, because I don't think, oh, actually, you know what? I've got one of the old ones. I found it the other day. But do you think I can see it off the top? Oh, here it is. I'll just use this. This is one of the old stylist style tools. So just get all those little guys out of there. See how it's got that nice, pretty little edge? That does not surprise me, Natalie. I'm not surprised that you love Cajun Craze. Okay, so this is our two-tone cardstock. You can see that's fairly similar color. It's just because the paper's different and the die lot's different. That's why you will get a slightly different tone. And that is the light side. Okay, so it's really nice. And then it's got a white core. So depending on how we use it will depend on what we get out of it. So you can use it just tone on tone if you want to. It's a little bit thinner than our cardstock that we use for our card bases. Tone on tone looks quite fabulous. Okay, but that's not what we're going to do with it today. We're actually going to have a bit of fun with it. All right, so first things first, I'm just going to fold my piece off. When I do, hey Lol, can you remember, is this hot dog or is this, I think this is, I can't remember which way is hot dog and which way is hamburger, but there's two different, you may hear people talking about it online, about the hot dog style card or the hamburger style card. I'm pretty sure cards that open that way are hamburger and that's a hot dog because it's long and skinny. That would make sense to me. All right, but anyway, we're going to do a landscape card. I'm just going to push down those edges because I put a new blade in, and then I cut 3 pieces at a time, and it gives me those little funny edges. When you cut your cardstock in this direction, you will find that you need to score, because otherwise it will give you a funny crinkly edge. All right, just saying. We're going to then pop this piece on here. It is going to get embossed. All right, I think I've told you before, Stampin' Upside Up means that is your embossed side. So Stampin' Upside Down will be our debossed side. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this piece here, because this is what I'm going to do in here. I'm going to put it in here so that it's ready to go with our daisies. Now, the daisies are in a line. I don't like anything fairly straight, but I want to make sure that I get everything. I want to get it all on there, but I'm going to send it a little bit crooked, just so my daisies, oh, I don't think that looks right. We're going to have straight daisies. Straight as a daisy. Some of it's going to get covered, but that's okay. So we'll send that through the cut and emboss machine in a second. We've got a few things to make. I've already cut this one out. That's out of our die pack that we've got here, but we've got some flowers and things to make. Now this piece here is my inside piece, so I don't want to get it mixed up. These are the pieces I've got for bits. All right, so I've pulled over with me Old Olive. Yep, that one's hot dog. I thought it might be. Old Olive, Cajun Craze, of course, because I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Cajun Craze. Pumpkin Pie And then, like I said, it's going to go perfectly with the new Golden Glow. These are one of our new ink pads and one of our new ink colors that is coming. So I have found them to be super duper juicy. So if you're a demonstrator and you get the new ink pads, they are super duper juicy. Some people will recommend that you blot some of the ink off. I think that's a waste. If you turn it upside down, because our ink pad is on this side, if you turn it upside down, some of that ink will settle on the bottom and it won't be as wet on top. So I have been storing mine up that way, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, I've also got a dauber over here with me because there's a couple of things I want to do and I'm just getting my head around this. This is just a scrap of vellum, just for a little bit of different texture. I am going to stamp some leaves in that, and I didn't put them on the stamp yet, so we'll just do that. Just so that we get a little bit of a different colour. I've got most of my stamps all ready to go. So first things first, let's have some Old Olive leaves, because Old Olive goes beautifully with Cajun Craze. They're both sort of fairly similar. I do have my dauber with me. I've got a sore finger, but that's all right. My Old Olive is needing a bit of love. So I'm just going to put a little bit of daubering on here. And what that does is it changes the texture of my leaves. And it gives them a bit of a, I don't know if it's an online special. It wouldn't surprise me because I don't think it's in the catalogue. So yes, the Daisy embossing folder, I'm going to say yes, is an online special, but I will confirm. All right, now I need some flowers, okay, but I don't necessarily want them to be really, this ink pad's relatively new and it's really juicy, so I don't want them to be really dark, but I'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's all. We'll see. I'll just pop this one down here. Yeah, beautiful. You can also do the same technique I did with these leaves on with the dauber. You can do that if you've got a second dauber, but I didn't bring a second one over. I think I need some more leaves. I'll just close this guy up. What I have to remember is, don't let me forget, I've got to make sure I do my, what's it called? My inside in the right direction. Because when I've previously done them, I've sometimes forgotten and done them in the wrong direction. Another one, and we'll have, these ones I'm going to do on the vellum and see how that, let's see how that shows up. Just so they're a little bit different. Sorry, you're going to have to watch me run some things through the cut and emboss machine a bit today. Now this little guy I've brought over, I want to show you a technique with this. Okay, so I'll just move these to the side. All right. This is Golden Glow. All right. I just want to put some ink on my flower. Oh, it's really juicy still. Might not work what I want to do. Yeah, it's really juicy. Let me just grab a spoon. If your stamp pads are really juicy, this is what you can do with them. You can give them a bit of a massage. All right. Just push that ink down. This is just a plain, boring old silver spoon. You can raid your kitchen drawer for them. However, what I find I've done is I've gone and I just bought some special ones from the, it's still really juicy, from Salvos. You can often get it for 20 cents each. What I'm doing, I'm just grabbing a blending brush because it's really juicy. So I'm just going to tap around on that. So I've just taken some of the ink off with my blending brush. It's also a good way to put it on. Your dauber works just as well. All right. And then I'm using my dauber and I'm putting some Old Olive onto the leaves. You can also, if you want to, you can line her up the same way I just did my flower with the edge, but it's up to you. Okay, let's tap off more of that. Now you're going to need to puff it. So if you watch the little screen down here, I'm just going to go on it. No, I actually got another piece of, oh, this is not my inside. Well, that didn't work very well. Let's see how it dries. Okay, but we can also put on ink this way. Okay, so when you turn it over, I'll just turn this over. This is the back, and you can see how it comes out. Okay, so it just depends on which way you want to do it, but they're really, really juicy, these ink pads. Okay, another dauber would have been better than the blending brush, let me tell you. Okay, so yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but we'll see. Let's do the inside, the proper inside one. Let's see if I can get this to go a bit better. Because there's this stamp pad. All right, so I've stamped the whole lot. I'll just take some of that colour off that bottom one. All right. Still got heaps of colour on that top, that flower. Now I'm just going to add my green to the base. I did put ink all over the place down the bottom here, but I'm just adding some old olive down here. Okay, you can put a little bit around the edges if you wanted. Puff on it. That looks better. Okay. All right, now the other thing I will be doing is I want to cut one out. So look, this is it just stamped straight on. It is really, really juicy. See? See the difference? Really juicy. Okay, so where's that spoon? Because I want to pinch just the flower. Push that ink right down. Give it a really good rub. All right, see? So it needs massaging, it needs using. Just wipe that off on my black pants on the bottom there. Store it in this up direction, like so, upside down, whilst it's still really juicy. There's lots of moisture in the atmosphere as well. So what you'll find, that's my inside. What you'll find is that things are being really wet anyway. Okay, no, I haven't finished doing the inside. With the inside, I'm going to do some extra leaves. I should have done my envelope while I was at it. And that one. Okay, so that's my inside done. Now I've got my sentiment up here. Now, yes, I did bring over pumpkin pie. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it, but, and I probably won't, but we'll see. Okay. So this is my little piece that I'm going to put my sentiment on. I've got wishing you a lovely day. It is not on my block very straight, so we'll fix that. And it's currently got, looks like it's, I've used it for some pretty peacock. Don't want that on my Cajun Craze ink pad. Okay. Cajun Craze is nice and juicy. Wishing you a lovely day. I'm going to push it a little bit further up to the top, a bit like I did with the birthday sentiment on my winning card. I'm going to call it that from now on. Okay. Because I want to be able to put those little stones down the bottom. Okay. All right, so cut those bit, that bit can just pop over there. Now we need to cut these pieces out that we've made ready for cutting. Okay, and do our embossing folder, etc., etc., etc. So bring in my friend, my trusty cut and emboss machine with its dreadful, dreadful plates. But that's all right. They still work until they crack, which one's cracked, but, you know, until they crack in half, we're still using them. And let's see if I can send two dies through at the same time and actually get a decent image here. So we've got leaves, flowers, and there's a little tiny one, the leaves as well. Okay, so let's see what we can get happening here. So the vellum's sold in 12 by 12 sheets now. It's classed as a specialty paper. It's the same vellum that we had a long time ago that was A4. But because it's bigger, it's better, because I like it that I can use it for scrapbook pages. Okay. And I reckon I could cut this guy out at the same time. I'm sure there's another piece of washi tape in here. Yep, there is. There is another flower that I need. It's around somewhere, I'm sure. And we need this guy. So, all right. I'm sorry about... Well, Kate, let me tell you about curved plates. Now, there's a lot of people on the internet will tell you lots of different things to do with curved plates. Do not heat them in the oven, okay? It doesn't work. I can tell you that now. It makes them very brittle and it doesn't work. So curved plates, yes, but if you were to cut with your cut and emboss machine different directions each time you cut, like to keep turning your plates over and over, then you'll find that they won't get as curved. The other thing, I know that the cut and emboss machine is made to store in the up position, like in the folded up position. One thing that I do with mine when it's not traveling is I'll leave it flat I'll leave it open like this on the bench. And the other thing I do is I turn all my plates upside down with this big thick one on the bottom, this one here. And I just put them in so that they're in the middle of, look, where's that one? Nearly sent that die over there. I put them in the middle of the, I roll them in so that they're in the middle. That way then they seem to get forced into submission to be a bit flatter. All right, and they seem to stay flatter for longer. And what I'll do is before I I've got to hold my tongue straight for that one. I'll show you what I mean. All right. I just have found that makes it a little bit easier. Now you need to do things in threes, and this bunch of flowers is in two. Well, when I say you need to do things in threes, you can do them however you like, but I just find that I like threes. Odd numbers seem to, yeah, well, it is a matter of just rotating them, essentially. Odd numbers seem to work better with flowers and stuff like that. So I got those three. So what I'm talking about is when I store these guys, I make my sandwich like so. I haven't done my embossing yet, so don't let me forget. And then I turn it upside down. I pop this in, and then that will sit. So I've rolled it in so it's halfway along, and that just sits on my table like that. Then it has a tendency to force that perspex into submission and get a little bit flatter. Okay, these plates that I'm using currently are actually, these will be the original plates. That one's not. That one looks like that one doesn't have Stampin' Up on it, so or number 3. So my guess is that's actually a really old plate from our big shot. All right, so there you go. Okay, so mind you, some, you know, it gets my my cut and emboss machine gets used so much, it's not funny. So I'm just putting in this daisy embossing folder. It's a dynamic one. It needs to go in spine first, like all of our embossing folders. Send that through. Now I have cut this piece to size, but what I have found, and you guys will find the same thing, is that sometimes by sending things through a dynamic embossing folder, it changes the size. All right, now you'll already notice that some of the white is already showing. Okay, how pretty is that daisy paper? All right, this paper, that's the deboss side, and that's the emboss side. So this paper is made to crack. If you don't want it to crack too much, you can wet it, but the part of the whole idea is it's made to go in those white bits, and that's actually the look that we want. Now, bringing in any nail file, Christmas festive one, whatever one you've got, and just rubbing it over it will actually make it more like it. Those little dots that are the centers of those flowers are really, really standy-uppy, for want of a better way of putting it. So you're going to be able to rub a little bit of that off. Looks pretty good. All right. And you'll see on this card here, I did it with our spots. This circle die, the circle embossing folder is actually retiring. So it's, I believe it might be decreased in price as well. So if you want that one, check out the last chance section. So yeah, all right, just saying. Okay, so we've got our flowers. They get a bit dusty if you do lots of it. Just be aware of that. I might just go around this edge a bit. All right, let's white up that edge a little bit more, because then that'll give us a bit more of a definition between the two different pieces of Cajun Craze. So we've got a Cajun Craze edge and a Cajun Craze. Say that really fast a few times, guys. Gosh, that's getting blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right, so we've got a Cajun Craze edge and we've got a Cajun Craze base. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that straight down, and I'm going to stick it straight down because I actually want it to have the opportunity to get really sticky. Let's see how good this glue is that I've got sitting here. I pulled over a dud. It felt like it had heaps in it. Oh, hold on. Maybe this is the one that I pulled over. I've got all these half open, like half, almost empty glues. I need to do more scrapbooking. That's all I can come up with when I think about that, because I like them because I can cut them open and I can use lots and lots of glue, and I feel like then I don't waste any. All right. So I'll just put this guy on here. Now, so far it doesn't look anything like my winning card because aside of the fact that it's a different color. All right. All right, so what I did, oh, and I stuck it down, oh well, is I pulled over this piece. I might just stick that there because that can be similar to, like this one's got bookends on it. So it's got different color ends like to our main piece. So there's the feature piece in the middle, but we're using this as inspiration. We're just going to go from there. So I also brought this piece over as well, but I was going to trim it to size, but I was going to use my piece of designer series paper as my, what's it called? Oh, my beautiful daisy paper as my template, but not now. I'm not. I think I want to see more of that daisy paper. I really like that daisy paper. So we're going to do that this way. Okay. All right. So you'll notice that they're the same piece. Okay. So the paper's double-sided, the same as our other paper. I'm going to bring that piece there. And you know what? I am going to use some of this, and I'm going to use that as my ruler because my trimmer is on the other table. So I want them to both be the same size, so we'll just use that as my ruler and we'll just go along there. Okay. So 2 pieces of different designer series paper, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down this side here. And then I'm going to glue that onto there, just so there's a little bit of a different edge. Okay, now this is directional, this print, so that wasn't what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to stick on the other side. Okay, nobody saw that. We'll just stick that on the other side. Da, 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 da. That means I've got glue down here, so we'll stick that on before I put it everywhere, because I'm really good at that too. Okay, so I'm going to leave a little bit of our feature daisies to the side there. Oh, that's crooked now. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? And it's stuck. Oh, it's crooked. I have to take it off. I'm sorry, guys. You see nothing. I'll just pull it out from behind the camera. Oh, golly gosh. And this is all I brought over with me, so it has to work. That's all there is to it. Right. Okay. Now, we have 2 pieces of designer series paper here, and we're going to go like so. And this little guy is going to stick to this crimpled one, and it's going to go on here, and it's going to be square and straight. Because you know what? If I showed my mother this card and it wasn't, she would be able to tell. And those that know her know that I'm speaking the truth. Now, I have got glue absolutely all over my fingers. Right. We're back on track, everybody. All right. And we're fuzzy. No, we're not. Okay, so I'm going to leave that row of daisies there because they're super duper cute. Need to have a monochromatic challenge on our team page, guys, because that's where I am at the moment. Okay, so, and probably should have put a green one there, but that's okay. We're inspired by this guy. So inspired by our friend up here, okay? Not to look, we don't want it to look exactly the same. We've got to be inspired by it, okay? So our sentiment is going to sit here, and we need some pretty leaves. Actually, you know what? I don't think we're going to need any other color. I think this color is going to work fabulous because where is it? Here it is. Look at this. Now, this is the Mossy Meadow and Gold ribbon trim, and it's got like a, how pretty is that? I didn't turn the overhead lights on, which are really yellow and give me bad shadows. We're just going by the light of the day at the moment, but we're going to use that ribbon. Okay, so essentially we are going to go and we're going to build a cluster of leaves. And we're going to stick some of these little ones here of the vellum in, just so that, because they just look a little bit different, just so it's a little bit different. Oh my gosh, my phone's going off its brain. And what we're going to do with these guys is we're actually going to cut the stems off. Okay, so using whatever nice sharp scissors you've got, we're actually going to just cut off. Hi, Amanda. I'm thinking about you as I fussy cut. All right, we're just going to cut off our, and yes, I am going to cut off these stems here. Now, you can cut across here if you want, and we may end up doing that, but we'll see how we go. Because I'm going to pop that in underneath there, which will mean that these flowers are going to come, these leaves and that stuff are going to come out a bit more. So, you're liking what you're seeing at the moment? All right. Okay, it's really annoying me that I haven't got my take your pick tool here. So let's start to build this guy up. So let's put our circle on, and look, there's flowers on the back of it. So that's the 4 patterns. So we've got the stripes and the leaves, the flowers and the mush. And I'm going to put more of the white up the top up there. Why do I call it mush? Because it just came to me like that. All right. Then we're going to need some ribbon. And my tear tape has got legs. So it has two. Okay. Well, this is not going to be fun. All right, we'll see how that goes. So I've just put a bit of glue on it. The plan is that I'm going to let that get a bit tacky as I go like so and work out my ribbon. While it's getting a bit tacky, the reason why I want it to get a bit tacky is because then I want it to, because I want to be able to stick this guy on it. But it needs to be a bit tacky so it will stick. Okay. So what I can do while I'm waiting for that to get, I can stick some of these gems down the bottom here. And yeah, I don't have my take your pick tool. Oh my gosh, how used to it have I become that I need it. All right, wishing you a lovely day. And then I'm just going to put, and they've got, because they're pentagons, they've got like a direction to them. So I'm just going to put 3 of these down here because I really like that effect. Now, I did use a big one and 2 little ones, but I'm just going with 3 little ones this time. I have a tendency with our gems and our dots and our pearls and everything, I really like the little ones. Wishing you have a lovely day. That's going to need dimensionals on the back, but it's probably going to need them after I've worked out who else is going to get dimensionals, because this guy here is for sure. See how the glue's going a different color? That's good because we need that to go that different color so that it becomes more tacky and it becomes like repositional glue. So we want it to do that so that we can then stick the ribbon to it. Let's see if it's going to do what I want it to do already. Okay, so need to make this ribbon a bit like, you know, that you can, there's 2 different ways you can fold it. So you can fold it just like normal and then sort of have it so that it sort of sits a bit like that. Or you can do a bit like the Cancer ribbons and you can fold it like so, which will give it a bit of height. And that's what I'm going to do. So underneath here, I'm going to make it so that those 2 bits stick like that. And then you'll notice there's a bit of height up there. Okay. And you'll see now my ribbon is stuck, even though I had to use liquid glue. But it's also repositional. Should have used that on that other piece, shouldn't I, underneath there? This guy is going to hoik up over here, so that'll work. All right. So we're going to put that there and that there, and we've got these leaves. So the leaves are going to go flattish. Now, did you hear the word ish? Little trick. I don't have any minis over here with me. Actually, I don't need it. That one's a nice big. Ooh. No, need minis. So let's cut these guys in half or use the edge. Okay. So instead of putting dimensionals under the whole leaves, and you've seen me, if you've watched my videos before, you've seen me do this before. I'm only going to put them under these top leaves and I'm going to do it on both pieces. All right. And that is because I can then glue the bottom down so it's flat underneath my sentiment. Okay. All right. And we'll get this one. Okay. So that's where my flowers are going to land. Let's see where I want my leaves to land. And the $100 question is, do we want them to land underneath our ribbon or do we want them to land on top? So see what I mean? I've just put a bit of glue underneath there. Yeah, I've got a couple of take your pick tools. One of them's got the old stuff on it, like the original things like that come with it, with your putty on one end. The other one I've got hanging around with my dye brush on it. This one here I'm going to do over the top of my ribbon. Okay, so I'll just take these guys off. Okay, and again, I'm going to put a bit of glue under here so my taily bit down there will be stuck flat. Yeah, don't want it to inhibit that nice curl of the ribbon. So then this guy here can sit straight on top of them. Okay, so we'll take these ones off. This doesn't work as easy as the curved one that I've swapped it out for. Now, these little bits here, I'm going to sort of make it so that that part of it, if I do this right, will sit nowhere in particular, underneath there. Yeah. So you'll see the reason why I haven't put my dimensionals under this yet, this part of it's not going to need them. Okay, so we'll just put them down the other side. But I still will put 3. And I've still got the little vellum leaves to put on, and I've still got my yellow flower. Now, the reason why I've got my golden glow flower is because I think it needed some other colour. All right, making sure that is straight. If you want to, you could stick a glue dot underneath here, or you could stick a bit of green glue on, and that would work. Now, this yellow one here, I'm just going to stick it in underneath here so that it looks like it sort of looks like it belongs. Do you know what I mean? But it can have a dimensional as oh no, there's already a bit of height in there. So we'll just stick it. I'm just going to slip it. I've just put a bit of glue on it and I'm just sticking it underneath there. It's going to stick to those leaves a bit. Okay. All right. Then where did all these vellum ones go? All right. So there's 3 vellum leaves here, and they're just to add a little bit of extra, I don't know what the right word would be. Not texture, it's just a different, I guess a different feel, different look. Whoops. Like they're off in the distance for a bit. Do you know what I mean? They've cut very dodgy because, you know, I wasn't very careful. That one there is not wanting to play nice. Yeah, that piece under there would look really nice if I'd done that in a different colour, maybe in a paler colour or just a different colour altogether, but it's just another texture. All right, and might slip this guy underneath there. Okay, so we have that bit. Let's put a lid on. Oh, no, we don't need a lid on you yet because we need to put, where's our inside piece? Now, that wishing you a lovely day can be sent for lots of different reasons. So I am not going to put a sentiment in here. If you would like to, you could put a little bit of it. Actually, you can put a little bit of Cajun Craze. If you've got the Cajun Craze blending brush, blending pens, what colour are you? You look like Chris Cantaloupe. You're new. Look what, watch this. Just for something a little bit different, because we've got our gems on the front. This is light and dark. These are new, the new set of blending pens. Okay. Right, we've got our little yellow flower there. Oh, that's the light one. I want the dark one. Because I want the dark one because I want it to go with my Cajun Craze. There is a Cajun Craze one, but it's over in the other room, other bit. So there's nothing stopping us coming in and just doing a couple of little extra things here. Just for something a little bit different, just adding another texture. Now, what you also can do, and I'm going to do it on this piece here, is you could come along, because there's a nice bullet tip end, you could come along and do something like so as well. All right, it just looks aesthetically pleasing, gives it another texture. There is a stamp in there that will do little lines and stuff like that, but you know, have a bit of fun with it. Nobody said it needs to be plain. The inside can look all different colors. You can zhoosh around the edge of it if you would like to, but I do leave them sentiment free, and then when I'm selling my cards I can just say to people there's no sentiment on the inside, so what you see on the front you can make it say whatever you want on the inside to go with that. Okay, it does make it a little bit easier, because then I can put them in plastic bags, or in the bags that don't have them, like they don't open and close, the plastic bags. All right, plus I mean it depends on what you want it for, but that's pretty, if I do say so myself. Now we need to stick some flowers on here. Because this is in Cajun Craze, I am going to use this smaller one. I am going to use it with Cajun Craze, and I'm going to try and just get my flower. Okay, what do you reckon? Do you think they look pretty good there together? All right, I do, if I do say so myself. Oh, they're fuzzy. That's better. You know, essentially it's the same card two different ways, really, when you think about it. Just saying. So one flower. The Cajun Craze, like I said before, is super juicy as well. You could stamp it off if you wanted to. 2 flowers. You could also stamp all over the envelope. The choice is yours. The envelope looks really good with leaves on it. Okay. The leaves are just really nice. I think that my dear old Olive is needing a re-ink based on what is happening with it. Like, see what I mean? And let's open her up and go this way. And we'll wipe the table, because we don't want to turn the front of the card green when we don't want it. All right, and we'll put leaf there and a couple of leaves there. All right, so now I've got more ink on my table. Okay, so what do you think? From that in blues and browns all the way to this in our Cajun Craze and our Old Olive, and a little bit, just a sneaky peek of our golden, oh, it's fuzzy again, and our golden glow. Hope that you all enjoyed that one. Okay, not bad, less than an hour. It's pretty good for me. All right, well, if you would like to see more, don't forget to subscribe. You can use this button up here if you need to shop for supplies. Okay, knock yourself out. And if you are not already a member of the Stampin' Up community, please feel free to reach out if you'd like to join. Either that, I can send you the new catalogue that's starting in May. Anyway, see you all later next week, same place. All right, catch up.